On Tuesday, June 11th, 2025, Zaria Khadija made the fateful decision to break her silence. From her home in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, she turned to her public Facebook platform, a space she typically reserved for her successful online business, to expose a deeply private and painful struggle. She opened the social media app and began to type, her fingers composing a message that starkly contrasted with her usual posts about fashion and accessories. Each word she chose contributed to a final, desperate cry for help. Zaria started her post by expressing her deep exhaustion with her husband, Shah Marcus Jamil Carr. She actively wrote to her 13,000 followers, "I'm so tired of helping a man who doesn't help me," immediately framing their relationship as unequal and draining. She then escalated her public accusations with raw honesty. She explicitly labeled her husband as a lying, cheating, stealing person, leaving no ambiguity about the pain and betrayal she felt. To provide context for her followers, Zaria shared her role within their family unit. She reminded her community that she had dedicated herself to being a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, sacrificing her own independence for their family. Zaria then revealed the core of her heartbreak. She declared that during those 5 years, her husband had done nothing but cheat, a devastating admission that exposes infidelity to the world. She communicated her profound emotional fatigue from the constant turmoil. She poured her feelings into the simple but powerful statement, "I'm so tired," a phrase that underscored her complete depletion. In a pivotal shift, Zaria then transitioned from making accusations to pleading for intervention. She actively asked her friends and followers to pray for me and my kids, signaling she was in a state of crisis. Her words showed her primary concern was for her children. By specifically including them in her plea, she highlighted her maternal instinct to protect them from the fallout of her husband's actions. With her message composed, Zaria Carr made the final choice to publish her words. She hit the post button, sending her haunting final message out to her vast online community. Shortly after she published her post, the digital tragedy manifested into a real-world horror. Officers with the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit received a call and responded to the Carr family's residence. Inside the home, police officers made a horrific discovery. They found 27-year-old Zaria Carr deceased. She had suffered a fatal gunshot wound. In the same location, they found her 36-year-old husband, Shah Marcus Carr. He was still alive but had sustained a critical, self-inflicted gunshot wound. First responders rushed Shah Marcus to a nearby hospital, but medical professionals could not save him. He succumbed to his injuries shortly after arrival. After processing the scene, investigators from the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit actively pieced together the tragic sequence of events. They concluded that Shah Marcus Carr shot and killed his wife before turning the gun on himself in a final, violent act of murder-suicide. Who is Zaria Khadija Carr? Zaria Khadija Carr actively cultivated a vibrant and successful public persona as a driven entrepreneur and social media influencer. At just 27 years old, she commanded a significant online presence, better known to her thousands of followers as Duchess Dior. She projected an image of confidence, style, and business acumen, building a community that looked up to her. She skillfully operated her own online clothing and accessories boutique, a business she built from the ground up. Zaria engaged her customer base directly, using platforms like Facebook and Instagram to model her products and connect with her audience. She was not just a business owner. She was the face of her brand, a testament to her hard work and modern entrepreneurial spirit. Beyond her business pursuits, Zaria was a dedicated mother. Her role as a parent to her young children was a core part of her identity, a fact she poignantly referenced in her final, desperate public message. She balanced the demands of her growing business with the responsibilities of raising a family. Through her online presence, Zaria presented herself as a strong, resilient woman. She inspired her followers with her drive and her seemingly successful life, which she appeared to manage alongside her family commitments. This carefully curated image of strength made the eventual revelation of her private struggles all the more shocking and tragic. Her husband, Shah Marcus Jamil Carr, was a 36-year-old man who also maintained a public persona on social media under the name The Frenchman. He positioned himself as a part of the family unit, often appearing alongside his successful wife. He was the man who stood beside the rising influencer, sharing the life she actively built. While Zaria's career was public, Shamarcus's professional life remains less clear. In the final hours of their lives, he was the man who drove Zaria's 2021 Dodge Challenger, a symbol of the success she had achieved. He is now defined not by his life's work, but by the violent end he brought to his wife and himself. Publicly, Zaria and Shamarcus Carr were a married couple raising their children in the small community of Twin City, Georgia. They presented a unified front, the picture of a modern family navigating life and business together. This public image, however, masked a deeply fractured and volatile reality. The couple's private turmoil erupted into public view in a horrifying Facebook live stream on the night of the tragedy. During this broadcast, they actively hurled serious and damaging accusations at one another in front of a live, digital audience. Shamarcus publicly accused Zaria of infidelity and claimed she had given him a sexually transmitted disease. His anger was palpable as he vented his frustrations, airing the most toxic elements of their relationship for the world to see. Zaria fiercely defended herself during the live stream. She countered his accusations with her own, accusing Shamarcus of cheating on her and being a liar. She fought to reclaim the narrative, refusing to be silenced during their final, chaotic confrontation. The digital argument took a terrifying turn when Shamarcus's verbal anger escalated into direct, violent threats. As viewers watched, he chillingly told his wife, "You're going to make me kill you," and later swore in Spanish, "Juro que morirás, I swear you will die." The live stream captured Zaria's clear recognition of the immediate danger. At one point, after Shamarcus allegedly grabbed a knife off camera, she directly challenged him, asking her audience and him, "Estás a punto de poner alarm? Are you about to stab me?" This live event irrevocably shattered their public personas. The successful influencer Duchess Dior was revealed to be a woman in fear for her life, and her husband, a Frenchman, exposed himself as a man capable of making terrifying public threats. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation later confirmed the tragic outcome of these threats. Their investigation concluded that Shamarcus Carr was a perpetrator in a horrific murder-suicide. He acted on the rage he displayed online. Shamarcus violently ended his wife's life within their home following the live stream. He then fled the scene in her car, taking her Dodge Challenger and sparking a police manhunt.
Investigating a death in Emmanuel County around 9:30 last night. The Twin City Police Department and Emmanuel Sheriff's Office say they were called to Fifth Avenue about a domestic disturbance. Deputies say when they arrived, they found 27-year-old Zaria Carr unresponsive. Carr was later pronounced dead. According to the GBI, her husband, 36-year-old Shamarcus Carr, was missing along with Zaria's actual car. Just after 11, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office saw the missing car and attempted to stop it, but deputies say Shamarcus was inside the vehicle and they even tried talking to him. Shamarcus then shot himself and died from his injuries. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office is investigating Shamarcus's death, and the GBI is investigating Zaria's death.
His flight from the domestic disturbance he created demonstrated his guilt. When law enforcement located him in a neighboring county, Shamarcus refused to face justice. As officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop, he actively took his own life with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, cementing his role as the aggressor. Zaria Khadija Carr, in contrast, is remembered as the victim of his final violent act. Her final post and her words on a live stream now serve as a haunting testament to the abuse she endured. The GBI's scheduled autopsy will detail the physical violence she suffered. The online community Zaria built actively mourned her loss. Her business page transformed overnight from a vibrant boutique into a digital memorial, flooded with messages of shock, grief, and support for children she so clearly loved. Shamarcus Jamil Carr is now remembered for the terror he inflicted in his final hours. His public threats and his ultimate actions define his legacy, forever casting him as the man who murdered his wife and orphaned his children. Ultimately, the most tragic figures in this story are the children left behind. They lost both parents in a single night of violence, their lives forever shaped by a domestic horror that began with a public argument and ended in an irreversible tragedy. On Tuesday, June 11, 2025, Zaria Khadija Carr, a successful 27-year-old entrepreneur, actively chose to shatter the curated image she presented to the world. As an influencer known professionally as Duchess Dior, She had masterfully built a thriving online community and business. She operated her own popular online boutique, a testament to her drive and modern business savvy. Zaria regularly engaged with her more than 13,000 Facebook followers, modeling clothes and accessories while fostering a supportive and positive digital environment. Her public persona was that of a vibrant, confident, and successful young mother and wife. She projected strength and glamour, balancing her entrepreneurial ambitions with her family life in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. On this particular Tuesday, however, she used her influential platform for a purpose far removed from commerce. She made the deliberate decision to expose the private turmoil that contradicted her public success. Zaria opened the Facebook application and began to compose a message that would serve as her final, desperate communication to the world. Each word was a deliberate choice, intended to reveal a painful truth. She began her post with a declaration of profound exhaustion, actively telling her followers, "I'm so tired of helping a man who doesn't help me." This opening line immediately framed her relationship with her husband, Marcus Carr, as one-sided and draining. With raw and unfiltered honesty, she then launched into a direct characterization of her husband. She actively labeled him as a lying, cheating, stealing person, using her platform to hold him accountable for his actions. To provide her community with context, Zaria then revealed her personal sacrifice for the family. She reminded everyone that she had been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, a period during which she supported their home life. She followed this with the most painful revelation of her message. Zaria stated unequivocally that during those 5 years of her dedication, her husband had done nothing but cheat. Her profound emotional fatigue permeated the post. She reiterated her exhaustion, writing simply, "I'm so tired," a statement that conveyed the heavy emotional burden she carried. The tone of her message then shifted from one of accusation to one of desperate appeal. She actively pleaded with her followers, imploring them, "Pray for me and my kids." This plea demonstrated that her primary concern, even in her moment of crisis, remained with her children. She actively sought spiritual protection not just for herself, but for the young lives caught in the turmoil. She summarized years of mistreatment in a short, powerful phrase. Zaria wrote that her husband has done me so dirty, a colloquialism that powerfully conveyed a deep sense of betrayal and disrespect. Her final sentence served as a haunting sign-off. It encapsulated her desperation and her maternal fear, reinforcing her plea for prayers for both herself and her children. With her message written, Zaria made the irreversible decision to publish it. She actively pressed the post button, sending her cry for help out to her vast digital network. This act transformed her business page into a public record of her private pain. She leveraged the very community she had built for support in her darkest hour. The post itself stood as a stark and ominous warning. It was a clear signal that the situation within her home had reached a critical and dangerous breaking point. Her words actively dismantled the carefully constructed public image of a perfect life. In its place, she revealed a hidden reality of infidelity and emotional distress. This final message, combining raw accusations with a plea for divine intervention, created a chilling and unforgettable testament. It alerted thousands of the fact that a beloved influencer was in grave trouble. Ultimately, Zaria Carr's final post served as the prelude to tragedy. This public declaration of her suffering actively set the stage for the horrific act of domestic violence that would claim her life just a short time later. On the night of Saturday, June 14th, 2025, the digital nightmare Zaria Carr had publicly broadcasted violently erupted into the physical world. The Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit received an urgent call, dispatching them to the Carr family residence where a domestic crisis had reached its fatal climax. Police officers sped toward the home, their mission to intervene in a situation that had already been declared volatile and dangerous through Zaria's own words. Upon their arrival, officers cautiously approached the residence, preparing to enter a home where they knew a deeply troubled conflict was unfolding. They breached the front door and moved inside, where they immediately confronted a scene of tragedy and horror. Inside the home, law enforcement officers made their first grim discovery. They found 27-year-old Zaria Carr lying on the floor. She had sustained a fatal gunshot wound. At this point, the situation was no longer a rescue mission, but the start of a complex homicide investigation. As they processed the initial scene, officers located the perpetrator of the violence. They found Zaria's husband, 36-year-old Shamarcus Jamil Carr, within the same residence. He had not managed to escape. Instead, he lay critically injured from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Paramedics on the scene immediately began performing life-saving measures on Shamarcus. They actively worked to stabilize him, intending to transport him to a nearby hospital for emergency treatment. The medical team rushed him to the hospital, where trauma surgeons took over his care. Despite their extensive and expert efforts, the damage from a self-inflicted gunshot was too severe. Shamarcus Jamil Carr succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead by hospital staff shortly after his arrival. Back at the crime scene, Captain Jack Kennedy of the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit took charge of the investigation. His team meticulously gathered evidence from home to piece together the final, tragic moments of the couple's lives. After a thorough preliminary investigation, Captain Kennedy addressed the public and the media. He officially confirmed the devastating conclusion that the evidence supported. Shamarcus Carr had shot and killed his wife, Zaria, before turning the gun on himself in a final, violent act of murder-suicide. In the immediate aftermath of the unthinkable violence, Zaria's vibrant Facebook page transforms before our eyes. No longer a bustling marketplace for fashion and entrepreneurial spirit, it becomes an unsolicited digital memorial, a stark testament to a life brutally cut short. The community Zaria meticulously built online now grapples with an overwhelming wave of collective grief. Thousands of individuals, followers who once admired her style and positivity, struggle to comprehend the senseless tragedy. They flood her final, haunting posts with an outpouring of shock and disbelief. Each comment adds another layer to the digital tapestry of sorrow, reflecting the profound impact Zaria had on so many lives. The silence left by Zaria and Shamarcus screams loudest for their innocent children. The violent act of their father, a man meant to protect them, renders them orphans in an instant. These young lives, shattered by an incomprehensible act of domestic violence, face a future forever marked by loss and trauma. Their parents' conflict, once a private struggle hidden behind closed doors, now exposes itself as a public tragedy, leaving behind a devastating void in their children's lives. The world watches helpless, as the innocent bear the heaviest burden of adult violence. These children, whose well-being Zaria desperately prayed for in her final moments, now navigate a world without either parent. Zaria's Facebook comment section morphs into an urgent, sorrowful forum. Here, friends and family members share their raw pain, their tributes painting a picture of the loving mother and determined entrepreneur stolen too soon. The digital space, typically a realm of curated perfection, now lays bare the ugly reality of domestic abuse. Her final words on that post, a desperate cry for help and prayers, resonate with an agonizing clarity. They serve as a public, tragic testament, an enduring echo of her final moments of terror and exhaustion. This last communication, intended as a warning, instead becomes a chilling eulogy. The contrast between Zaria's carefully curated online persona and the grim reality of her private life could not be more stark. Her radiant smiles and aspirational posts masked the terrifying struggle, a private nightmare she tried to voice just before it consumed her. This stark dichotomy forces a vital conversation about the often hidden realities behind seemingly perfect digital lives. Zaria's story ignites a crucial dialogue about domestic abuse, highlighting how even outwardly successful individuals can suffer in silence. It shatters the illusion that such struggles are confined to specific demographics, revealing the pervasive nature of this epidemic. Her experience underscores the insidious way abuse can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life. Her friends and family vehemently refuse to remember her solely as a victim. They speak of her vibrant spirit, her unwavering love for her children, and her remarkable drive as a business owner. They champion her legacy, ensure her life is celebrated for its vibrancy, not just mourned for its tragic end. They remember Zaria as a beacon of light, a dedicated mother who poured her heart into her children's well-being. They recall her entrepreneurial spirit, her relentless pursuit of her dreams, building a thriving business from the ground up. This collective remembrance forms a powerful counter-narrative to the violence that took her. The outpouring of grief and remembrance also reveals the strength of the community Zaria cultivated. Her followers, initially drawn by her fashion sense and positive outlook, now rally around her memory, united in sorrow and a shared sense of loss. This digital congregation becomes a space for shared healing and reflection. Her final plea, "Pray for me and my kids," now resonates with a heartbreaking irony. While prayers couldn't prevent the physical tragedy, they now serve as a rallying cry for action, urging others to recognize and intervene in similar situations. Her words, though uttered in despair, now inspire a desperate hope for change. The digital footprint she left behind, once a path to her business, now become a map to understanding the silent struggles many endure. Her social media content, once about sales and style, now carries a far heavier meaning, imbued with the weight of her final, desperate warning. Each post, each picture, now carries a deeper, more somber significance. Zaria's life, abruptly ended, delivers a powerful and painful lesson. It compels us to look beyond the superficial gloss of social media, to truly see the individuals behind the screens, and to recognize the signs of distress often masked by outward appearances. This tragic event serves as a stark reminder of unseen battles. The digital legacy Zaria leaves behind transcends her business and influence. It transforms into a poignant educational tool, forcing a global conversation about the imperative to listen, to believe, and to act when cries for help emerge, no matter how subtly. Her story becomes a stark case study in the devastating consequences of ignored pleas. Her untimely death serves as a chilling reminder of the epidemic of domestic violence that continues to plague communities worldwide. It underscores the urgent need for increased awareness, accessible resources, and proactive intervention to protect vulnerable individuals. The silence around this issue, her story proves, can be deadly. The community's collective mourning solidifies Zaria's place not just as a victim, but as a symbol. She represents the many who suffer in silence, the hidden battles fought behind closed doors, and profound tragedy of lives lost to preventable violence. Her name becomes synonymous with this vital struggle. Her final desperate post, intended to save herself and her children, now saves countless others by raising awareness. It functions as a digital beacon, illuminating the darkness of domestic abuse and prompting necessary conversations in homes and communities globally. Her words, though a cry of pain, now ignite a spark of hope. Zaria Khadija Carr's story, though ending in tragedy, compels us all to be more vigilant, more empathetic, and more proactive. It challenges us to foster environments where victims feel safe to speak out and where cries for help are met with immediate, effective support. Her digital legacy demands our collective action. Ultimately, Zaria's life and death carve an indelible mark on the digital landscape. Her story serves as a profound and enduring warning, a powerful testament to the hidden epidemic of domestic violence that continues to steal voices, shatter families, and leave an unfillable void in the world. The screen fills once more with Zaria Carr's most vibrant, most joyful photographs. Her infectious smile, her entrepreneurial energy, her very essence radiate from these images, a stark and painful contrast to the darkness that consumed her. The uplifting music of her online life, however, yields now to a somber, respectful melody, underscoring the profound loss. This shift in imagery and sound powerfully reminds us of the woman she truly was, not just a victim, but a thriving individual with dreams and a family. It highlights the stark reality of what the world lost, what her children lost, when violence silenced her voice. Her vibrant life now serves as a poignant backdrop to her tragic end. Zaria's final act, a desperate, public plea on her social media platform, rings out with heartbreaking clarity. She reached out to the very community she meticulously built, using her influence not for business, but to voice her immense pain and to implore for prayers. This last, brave communication reveals her struggle and her hope, however fleeting. While the help she sought could not ultimately save her from the violence within her home, her story now emerges as a powerful, tragic warning for countless others. Her experience compels us to confront the uncomfortable truth that lies behind many curated online lives. It demands our attention, forcing us to listen more intently. Her narrative urges us to look beyond the often perfect facade of social media. It challenges us to peel back the layers of online presence and recognize the real, often hidden, struggles individuals face in their private lives. Zaria's tragedy serves as a poignant reminder that appearances can be profoundly deceiving. Her story powerfully impresses upon us the crucial need to listen, truly listen, to every cry for help, regardless of how or where it manifests. Whether whispered in person or screamed through a public online post, a desperate plea requires an immediate and empathetic response. Zaria's voice, though silenced, echoes this urgent message. Her life and death become a rallying cry against the pervasive, hidden epidemic of domestic violence. This societal blight continues to steal mothers from their children, silence vibrant voices, and shatter countless lives behind closed doors. Zaria's tragic end reinforces the urgency of this ongoing battle. The screen then transitions to a stark black, emblazoned with text that honors her memory. In memory of Zaria Khadejahkar, it reads a final, solemn tribute to the woman whose life was cut short too soon. This simple declaration carries the weight of all that was lost. Crucially, the message then pivots to empower others. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. You are not alone. It provides a national domestic violence hotline number, 1-800-799-7233, a vital lifeline for those trapped in similar circumstances. This direct call to action transforms Zaria's tragedy into a potential pathway to safety for others.